All right, we'll go ahead and start today's meeting. It's Tuesday, October 24th, 2017 at 9:31. Erica, could we have a roll call, please?
Commissioner Henry,
Here.
Commissioner Tedesco,
Here.
Commissioner O'Dorisio,
Present.
Commissioner Hanson,
Here.
Commissioner Hodge.
Here.
All right, if we could stand and say the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Can I have a motion to approve the agenda, please?
Commissioner O'Dorisio,
Yes.
Commissioner Hodge,
Aye.
Commissioner Hanson,
Aye.
Commissioner Tedesco,
Yes.
Commissioner Henry.
Yes. All right, next is awards and presentations. We have none. Next is public comment. Erica, do we have anyone signed up to speak?
We do have one person signed up today regarding Midtown on new business.
Is Midtown on new business or it's in land use? New business? Okay, go ahead and bring them forward.
Matthew Zielinski.
Matthew, welcome. If you could state your name and address, we'd appreciate it.
Sure. Good morning, Commissioners. Matthew Zielinski. I'm at 1844 West 67th Place, Denver 80221. The reason I'm here this morning is on your agenda you have 4 items for approval for Midtown, and I'm asking you to vote no on 3 of those. They are, the developer is asking to begin construction on some locations that are actually under dispute right now. There's a lot of homeowners, residents that have filed public comments and stuff like that opposing the developments, and what they're asking you to do is allow them to begin construction before it's even gone through the Planning Commission, public comments, things like that. And I don't see what message that would send to those homeowners that are trying to follow the process. You guys have a very good development review process, a lot of great staff looking at this, and for them to begin the work while it's still under discussion and approval is kind of a slap in their face. Also, just recently, the developer has asked to change the PUD for the entire neighborhood. That's actually currently in public comments. They're waiting until November 6th for that to open. So I think you guys have a process in place. You know, the developer probably will get what they want out of it, but I think it's important for the homeowners that are participating in the process for that process to actually happen, go through all the review, let everybody be on board, and just give everybody the opportunities for that. The 4th one, the last time I think that's on your agenda, is for the school. I have no opposition to that. In fact, I think the community is on board with that. Just in Mapleton, we approved the bonds. We're already paying the taxes. So the community is pretty excited to get that going. So if you're looking for a King Solomon sort of way, you know, there's 3 of them you could say no on, and 1 that we'd be glad for you to say yes. So that's all I had. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. All right, is there anyone else signed up?
There is not.
Okay, is there anyone in the audience that did not sign up that wishes to speak? Okay, I see none. Elected officials communications, commissioners, any comments? No comments today. All right, do I have a motion for the consent calendar?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Commissioner Tedesco,
Yes.
Commissioner Hodge,
Aye.
Commissioner O'Dorisio,
Yes.
Commissioner Hanson,
Aye.
Commissioner Henry.
Yes. All right, new business. County Manager, what do you have for us?
Good morning, Commissioners. The first item before you is a resolution awarding a purchase order to Motorola Solutions for the radio replacement project, and I believe Jeremy Whitetalk is here from the Sheriff's Office.
Good morning, Commissioners. Thank you for giving the Sheriff's Office this time this morning to present our radio replacement project. With me is Captain Mark Mitchell. I am Jeremy Whitetalk, a sergeant with the Sheriff's Office and project manager for this project. The radios currently used throughout the Sheriff's Office are over their useful lives and are in need of replacement. The Sheriff's Office budgeted the project in phases with this year having $643,127 approved for this year. We also had a proposed amount for next year for $2,308,634 to complete the project. We did a RFP process through the county, and the county received 3 proposals. One of the firms did not meet our minimum technical difficulties, and so they were removed from our evaluation process. The evaluation process of the proposals included proposal review, interviews, and demonstrations. Once the evaluations were completed, it was determined that Motorola Solutions best met our needs. And as part of the best and final offer that Motorola gave us, they gave us an initial 5% discount with an additional 5% savings if the county purchased all the radios this year versus between this year and next year. And that savings would be approximately $210,700 additional if we bought everything now. On October 3rd, we did a study session with you guys, and we asked for the 2018 budget be moved over to the 2017 budget so we could take advantage of the savings. And that later on that day, you all approved that process. So what we're recommending is an award of purchase order for Motorola Solutions for the Sheriff's Office radios in the amount of $2,482,363.92.
Okay, Commissioners, do you have any questions? I see none. Do I have a motion?
Madam Chair. Move for the approval of the resolution awarding a purchase order to Motorola Solutions for the radio replacement project.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Commissioner O'Dorisio?
Yes.
Commissioner Hodge? Commissioner Hanson?
Aye.
Commissioner Tedesco? Commissioner Henry?
Yes. Great, thank you.
Thank you.
The next item before you is a resolution awarding an agreement to CML Security LLC for the Human Management Interface System upgrade. And I believe Gene Claps is here from the Sheriff's Office.
Good morning, Commissioners. This morning I have an RFP that went out that we're budgeted through last year's, or this year's financial year for our HMI and PLC system upgrade. We had 2 contenders in the RFPs. One was Sierra Detentions, the other was CML. After review of the board, we found that the best option for us was CML. Having gone through the contracts, we found that CML was actually upgrading much more of the system in an overall project to include new computers, new touchscreens to control the PLCs and operate the systems compared to what we were getting through Sierra Detentions. So the board found that it was best to recommend CML in that project. This system does the call-up cameras, it does the locks, the security overrides, the security buttons, everything in our facility that operates the control panels from the operators' booths and the each tower and module. So it's the whole system of the facility.
Commissioners, do you have any questions? Okay, I see none. Do I have a motion?
Madam Chair. This would be for items 2 and 3. Can we do these together? Okay, County Attorney says yes.
Okay.
Move for the approval of resolutions 2 and 3. These resolutions are the resolution awarding an agreement to CML Security LLC for the Human Management Interface System upgrade. And number 3, resolution awarding an agreement to CML Security LLC for the Detention Center Security System Maintenance Services.
All right, do I have a second?
Second.
Commissioner O'Dorisio?
Yes.
Commissioner Hodge?
Aye.
Commissioner Hanson?
Aye.
Commissioner Tedesco?
Yes.
Commissioner Henry?
Yes. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
The next item before you is a resolution awarding an agreement to Old Tag Engineering, Inc. for the ADA transition plan. And Jeff Maxwell, Director of Public Works, will be presenting this item.
Good morning, Commissioners. This is for our Americans with Disability transition plan, which was adopted by you in October of 2016. It's a way for us to retrofit areas throughout the county that need to come up to current compliance for ADA standards. We've selected 5 areas to address in this first round. And I'll give you some more details on each of these. The first two areas are 68th and 66th Avenue between Washington and York. That's just south of I-76 and just east of I-25. Those are both made up of small pockets of residential areas on the end of the street and then industrial areas on the other end of the street. So the two residential areas are kind of isolated, and this will be a way for us to get sidewalks, curb and gutters, so they can get all the way down the street. The next area is Steel Street. Steel Street from 86th Avenue down to the Niver Creek Trail. Again, this is a combination of land uses in the area. On the northeastern side rather, there is a rather large subdivision, and then to the south is some industrial and retail parcels. So it'll be a way to connect both of those and ultimately get sidewalks down to the Niver Creek Trail as well. And the fourth and fifth areas are 56th Avenue and 55th Avenue between Lincoln and Washington. This is mostly industrial area. However, it's just north of the Globeville Asarco project, so we believe that it'll have some benefit for that area as well in the short term. In advertising for this, we received proposals from 6 firms and evaluated all 6 of them. The fees ranged from a low of $268,300 to a high of $702,301. We evaluated those based on qualifications of the firm, the key personnel, the project approach, the cost of the services, and the proposal completeness. The firm that scored the highest across the board was Altig Engineers with an 88.75%. Altig's fee, let me just go back, $344,584. It's not the lowest. However, they have direct experience working in retrofitting sidewalks in neighborhoods rather than just doing complete street projects from beginning to end. And we all know those are a little bit more complicated. So they did come out on top on that. So we would recommend awarding the contract to Altig Engineers for $344,584.
Okay, do we have any questions, commissioners? Commissioner Tedesco.
So I just have a couple questions.
Sure.
One, overall on all of these projects, have we partnered with any of the other infrastructure, water, sewer, cable, any of that, so that we are addressing whether or not they have plans to upgrade in that area? And
Yes, we've reached out to everybody to see what their 5-year plan is on all of these. We don't see any conflicts for it. Our component is going to be relatively straightforward. We're not changing storm sewer on any of these. We're just doing street flow. So we're going to do as minimal impact as possible. We pick the projects that have the best impact for the residents and also are the projects that we can get done quickly so we can get some work out there in the field that they can benefit from. We haven't come up with any conflicts like that so far.
so my second question is what's the process now that we've identified this? What is your
So
process moving
what
forward?
we're asking the consultant to do is to design all 5 of these independently. So we don't want them to come back a year from now with all 5 done. We want to do them one at a time so we can start constructing as we go. As soon as they get one constructed, we're going to, designed, we're going to go right out to bid for construction on that component so that we can get the process moving and the residents can start to see these sidewalks being put in rather than waiting a whole year and then starting construction. So we're trying to make it as responsive and proactive as possible so that these neighborhoods can get the sidewalks in.
And I apologize, but
Sure.
will there be neighborhood input?
Oh, yeah. Well, every one of these neighborhoods will have a neighborhood meeting before design, during design, at post-design, and before construction, of course. Yeah. And what we're doing things a little bit differently now. In the Berkeley neighborhood, we're working on retrofitting. We actually go door to door now, and we meet with each resident and show them in their front yard exactly where the sidewalk's going to be and exactly how it's going to look, because it's different on paper. So, and then we have them, agree that they're okay with that, and we've had almost 100% success with that. So we'll probably do the same thing on these.
Okay, great. Commissioner Odorizio.
Based on the feedback I'm getting from folks in Berkeley, you're doing an outstanding job, and I think
Terrific.
that's a good model to use moving forward, so thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions, commissioners? Okay, I see none. Do I have a motion? Number 5, no, number 4.
Madam Chair, I move that resolution awarding an agreement to, is it Altig Engineering, Inc. for the ADA transition program be approved.
Do I have a second?
Commissioner Tedesco,
Yes.
Commissioner Odorizio. Yes. Commissioner Hodge.
Aye.
Commissioner Hanson. Commissioner Henry.
Yes. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
The next three items are three resolutions approving subdivision improvement agreements between Adams County and Midtown LLC for Midtown at Clear Creek, filing 6, 9, and 10. And Emily Collins from our Community and Economic Development Department will be presenting this. I'm sorry, Kristen, I apologize.
That's okay.
Sorry,
We had
Kristen.
a last minute swap there. Good morning, Commissioners. Kristen Sullivan, Community and Economic Development. We do have 3 items before you today, and I'd be happy to answer questions as well. We have representatives from Midtown here too. So the applicant, Midtown LLC, has been unable to obtain development approvals for the remaining filings in Midtown. This is largely due to the ongoing remediation activities for the 43-acre park. We do have a graphic now that we've put up to show you some of the different areas. They have had final plat applications pending for all of these sections of their subdivision for quite some time. In fact, some up to a year, we've been reviewing them. We did come to a bit of an impasse in our discussions about what required public improvements would be necessary in order for the staff to recommend approval on these filings. I will say that in the last 2 to 3 months, we've made a lot of progress towards proposing a solution that we will be bringing to you in early 2018. They've submitted applications to revise the PUD to move some of the open space that they cannot provide currently in the western part of the subdivision to another part. However, it has put the brakes on their project in a pretty significant way. As we have done with many other subdivisions in the county, we are recommending consideration of these subdivision improvement agreements prior to approval of the final plat applications. And we do that carefully considering any risk to the county. And the developer is assuming all of the risk of constructing these improvements. So these are street improvements as well as drainage improvements. They are providing collateral for the full cost of the improvements. And the agreement's very clear that in no way does this guarantee any approval of the final plat applications. We thought it would be best to propose all the final plat approvals at once so that you can see and have a whole picture of how the subdivision works together and what improvements are tied to each of the filing plat applications before you're giving approval to construct any more homes in the subdivision. Nothing on today's agenda would allow any new building permits to be pulled in any of these new filings. It's simply the public improvements. And we're offering this because this will allow them to continue to make progress towards completing the subdivision, which we find to be in the public interest as well as in the neighborhood interest, because having the subdivision incomplete and having the developer potentially walk from the project would not be in the public interest. So we've only proposed this because we've carefully considered the risks and found them to be minimal and largely, well, really completely on the developer taking this risk. And through the collateral as well as withholding any building permits, we don't find that this would put any more risk on the county and is a fair element of the solution that we plan to offer. The pending applications for the revision to the preliminary development plan as well as all the final plat applications, we expect to go to the Planning Commission late this year in their December meeting, and you would have, of course, ultimate land use decision-making authority on this project. We expect that that hearing would happen probably in January. As noted by the previous public comment, there is one of these filings that relates simply to the school district's parcel, which you'll see is kind of in the northwest corner of the site plan, colored in purple. That we have, for quite some time, encouraged the public improvements to commence, and that could happen preceding an approval today, and the school could go under construction shortly thereafter. And so that would be the perimeter street improvements as well as any drainage improvements. So I understand there's probably some questions. Be happy to answer those. I will point out that the filings that we're asking you to consider taking this action on are highlighted in red there, so filing 6, filing 9, and filing 10. And we've only recommended those today because none of those we anticipate would have any changes to the street layout or the drainage improvements as a result of any hearings on an amendment to the preliminary development plan. So with that, I'll be happy to take questions.
Commissioners, questions? Commissioner Tedesco. Commissioner Odericio.
This is I'm looking at this, and what I see in the staff report is that the builder's taking on this risk, knowing that they're doing some of this horizontal development before they begin any vertical development. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And that, in no way does this bind us in any future decisions, correct?
Absolutely not.
The last question I have is, the challenge that we have here is we don't want this developer to walk away. We love this neighborhood, I think generally, at least I'm gonna say, I love the neighborhood. I think it's a good product. The challenge we have is just making sure promises made will be promises delivered on behalf of the county as well as the people in that neighborhood. How do you see that passing this today doesn't reduce our position in making sure that those promises will be delivered?
That's a good question, and that's been the objective of the staff in all of our negotiations with the developer, is to make sure that there's a lot more concrete and defined requirements for each step in the process. And today's recommendation is a step towards that. Each of these filings has the specific improvements that are required that would have to be completed. And this does not grant any building permits, does not allow any vertical construction, and does not create any lots within these subdivisions, so they cannot be transferred to builders without your approval of a final plat application. So it's actually not giving them anything other than the ability to take on a risk for an entitlement they do not have yet. So they do not have, as you see, for example, in filing 6, all those lot lines, those don't exist today. They won't exist regardless of the actions you take on the items today. So there'll still be one single parcel there, and they'll, on their own risk, if they choose to pull construction permits to do the street construction grading work, and begin to do the drainage improvements. If their final plat's not approved, that was all at their risk, and there will be no acceptance by the county, and they will continue to own a piece of land that we didn't accept any improvements on, so.
I guess, can I interpret this? Because the way I'm interpreting this is that because they're taking on the risk and we're doing this in iterations, we're seeing at least some good faith progress towards a good outcome. Is that the right way to look at this?
We've made a lot of progress over the summer and into the fall that did not exist a year ago. Like I said, I used the word impasse. We did reach an impasse where we weren't able to find a solution. And the developer has been willing to come in with a revised PUD document to take a step back and look at the site and try to provide what was required in a different way, because they've been unable to provide it in the original contemplation.
All right, thank you.
Any other questions, commissioners? Commissioner Tedesco.
So I don't know that I'm comfortable with bypassing a process that we've had in place. I understand that you're saying that this wouldn't be detrimental to our future decision-making, but I don't understand why it's needed now when we have a process set in place that they need to follow. And also, my other concern is that this whole project, although be it beneficial and nice, and I enjoy, what they're putting in, there is a lot here that just isn't happening. And until some of the promises made are kept, I don't know that I'm gonna make those big decisions to bypass a process that's worked throughout the county to do this. And I'm not comfortable with that, because it seems like we keep going farther and farther and farther into this without getting the things that we were told would be given to us. And it's not just us, it's the neighbors and the people who have bought in that community. And although I do want to see this project get done, I don't know that I could support bypassing the processes that we have in place. I've said that in other cases. I have been very consistent on that. If you want to change the process, then change the process. But don't bypass the process for this purpose. And, if we want to show good faith, then maybe good faith would be getting done some of those things that were promised. That would be good faith.
Any other commissioners? All right, I see none. Do I have a motion? Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion. Based on the information that we've received today from staff, I'm going to say that I feel comfortable to move forward with what they're presenting. We are not committing ourselves to, there's still opportunities for us to assert accountability if there's issues along the way. I'm hearing that from staff. I think that we got comments here from the neighbors, or at least from a representative of the Metro District, and I think that's important to listen to, and I appreciate that. But moving forward, I think we still have an opportunity, and it'll be a full land use hearing, correct, in January, Kristen?
That's correct.
So, based on those things, and I think there's also, we can see how they behave for the next few months, how everyone works together. So I'm going to make a motion to approve resolutions 5, 6, 7, 8. And that includes number 5, resolution approving subdivision improvements agreement between Adams County and Midtown LLC for Midtown at Clear Creek Filing 6. Number 6 would be resolution approving subdivision improvements agreement between Adams County and Midtown LLC for Midtown at Clear Creek Filing 9. Resolution approving subdivision improvement agreement between Adams County and Midtown LLC for Midtown at Clear Creek Filing 10. And finally, resolution number 8, resolution approving subdivision improvements agreements between Adams County and Midtown LLC for Midtown at Clear Creek School site.
Second.
Commissioner O'Dorisio?
Yes.
Commissioner Hodge?
Aye.
Commissioner Hanson?
Aye.
Commissioner Tedesco? Commissioner Henry?
Yes. All right, thank you.
There's still the last one, right?
No, he did it.
Oh, he did, okay.
Go ahead.
So I believe that was all of the new business under county manager.
Did that include number 8? The resolution for LLC for Midtown at Clear Creek School site? It did? Okay. All righty, we read them all. Okay. County manager, what do you have, or county attorney, what do you have for us?
Good morning, commissioners. Although it is not on your agenda, we received some new information yesterday and would ask to go into executive session today pursuant to Colorado Revised Statute 24-4024B and E for the purpose of receiving legal advice and advising negotiators regarding Aurora Highlands Regional Transportation Authority.
All right, do I have a motion?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Commissioner Hodge?
Aye.
Commissioner O'Dorisio?
Aye.
Commissioner Hanson?
Aye.
Commissioner Tedesco?
Yes.
Commissioner Henry?
Yes. All right, and we'll go ahead and adjourn at 9:59.